Do I have to go through the metal detector?
Yes.
I have to?
Correct, sir.
You guys are aware of Simmons versus United States?
This is what they tell us to do, man.
But are you aware of it at all?
I'm not aware of that specific one.
It says that in that the Chief Justice's court of opinion is that it's intolerable for one constitutional right to be surrendered to assert another one. So to me, this is not.
Case, it would be, oh, sorry, go ahead.
This is an unreasonable Fourth Amendment search.
Okay.
I'm just letting you guys know.
Your First Amendment right to free speech, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to trade my Fourth Amendment right to exercise my first. So I just want you guys to know that I'm going in here because otherwise you're not going to allow me to go in here. I believe it's unreasonable, so I'll bring it up to them again.
Yep.
But at least you guys are nice about it.
Yeah, of course.
Last time when I told Lieutenant Kenny about it, he said he was aware of the Supreme Court case. I just figured you can't be aware of every Supreme Court case. Lawyers aren't aware.
Certainly can't be.
You know, that's not how it works. But he said he was aware of it, which is even worse. He knows of it, and he still says he can't come in. But
What is it? So I can read it.
Simmons versus United States.
Okay.
And the plain rule in that case was just that it's exactly that. It's intolerable to surrender one constitutional right to assert another. I'm coming here to express my freedom of speech with First Amendment. I shouldn't have to get
Right, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
and that's a reasonable search. I don't come here with this is a council meeting. This isn't a court. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry,
Simmons, Simmons. I appreciate you actually caring enough.
Do you know what year it is or not? I can look it up.
Sure, but you can look it up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Every time I'm Mike. Nice to meet you, Mike. Every time I come here,
Rennie.
I come to the council meetings all the time. True. Every time I come here, I mention it to every officer who is there, you know, at the man in the security station. There's a Supreme Court, Simmons versus United States. And in that case, the Chief Court Justice said that it's intolerable to surrender one constitutional right to assert another one. So as I come here to express my First Amendment right at the meeting, I have to go through this metal detector. Each time I keep saying, may I just go in? I don't want to be unreasonably searched. I'd like to just come here, come to a meeting. There's no reason to assume I have a weapon. This isn't a court. So I know they're following orders. So what I'm saying is for whoever's in charge, if somebody could look into this. Last time I mentioned it to Lieutenant Kenny, Chief Bryan wasn't here. He doesn't want to hear anything about this court case. I mentioned Lieutenant Kenny, and he says that he knows the Supreme Court case. I had just found out about the Supreme Court case. You know, you can't keep track of all those kinds of things. Sure. Even lawyers, that's not how it works. You know, you look up and you see what the case entails, and then you find supporting, you know, documents and case law and all that kind of stuff. So I can't imagine he knew it, but if he did know it, why are you just willfully not allowing me to come in when I'm making this argument? You know, I bring it up to the council every time, but ultimately it falls back on the police, you know, who's ever in charge, and that's the orders that they're giving them. So I would like to come to this meeting one time and not have to go through a security checkpoint. I don't have weapons. I never carry weapons. There's no reason to assume I have any.
Yes, Mikey?
How you doing? Good evening, council. I have no problem with you calling me up. We all, you know, my name's Mikey. I haven't come to this meeting yet. I haven't given my real name because I don't feel like the council has put themselves into a position where I'm comfortable giving that courtesy. I don't mind in the future that you call me up as Mikey. We all know that's my name. But for the record, I'm not giving my name. And just a couple of things. I already spoke to Councilman Coyle out in the hallway. I told you the last 2 times you interrupted me while I'm speaking. He assured me he's never going to do it again. So we have that under control. Also, when I'm speaking, if nobody, I don't want anyone speaking amongst each other. It's to show me that respect. I sit here and I don't speak. So I just want none of you to be speaking amongst each other while I'm speaking. Just show me that respect. Do whatever you want. When the other speakers are speaking, that's up to them to call you out for it, but I don't want you to at least speak when I'm speaking. I just want full divided attention, and I appreciate that. Spoke to the captain before the meeting, very nice guy. Told him about Simmons versus United States, constitutional Supreme Court law that the ruling was it's intolerable to surrender one constitutional right to assert another one. That's a Fourth Amendment violation. I brought this up in meeting after meeting. Last meeting I was here, Lieutenant Kenny spoke to him about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, I know that law," which I don't see how we could because I just found out about it. Even lawyers, you know, they have to find case law that applies to whatever case is pertaining to but to acknowledge a constitutional, a Supreme Court law, and then just willfully just overlook it is sort of ridiculous. Both times that Councilman Coyle cut me off, I was referring to the flag ban, or the prop ban, I referred to it as the flag ban.
It's not a flag ban.
Stop, don't cut me off!
Councilman Coyle.
Don't cut me off! This is what I'm talking about. Order! Councilman Coyle, you are out of order!
Point of order.
Councilman.
You're out of
You're
order!
out of order.
Stop the clock! This is what I'm talking about, the third time!
This is where
Councilman
he,
Coyle, I'm sorry.
Third time!
Councilman
He
Coyle, you're
is
out
out
of
of-
order.
Have respect, Councilman
If
Coyle.
you don't stop,
Look at
I
him.
have to ask
he's
you.
making false
Like a
statements.
child.
It was not
Like a child.
It was not a ban on the flag.
Councilman Coyle, I'm going to
All the time.
ask you to leave.
You can't ask me to leave. Let me-
Councilman Coyle. Didn't start this time again. I'm sorry.
You got 2 minutes on the clock, and then you got interrupted. 2 minutes.
This is what I'm talking about. I would love to give you the courtesy and come here and tell you what my name is, but this council doesn't deserve that courtesy. You all, as a governing body, have to take the hit for the 4 people that voted for the flag ban. And you know what it was? You were banning the rights of Christo. Then you tried to ban his friends. And then before you knew it, everyone in the nation realized you were banning them. You guys remember how this happened, right? Everybody's rights were at risk because you banned one person, banned his friends. I came your name for the first time during the profanity ban. I warned you guys. I warned you guys about the road you'd be going down. Every single person did nothing when that man was removed, when Joel was removed for waving the flag. No one did a thing. You got Mike Burns all over national TV yelling with the cops, ripping them out. Nobody did a damn thing because you banned the flag. So I know you did anything. You banned the flag. Am I going to be interrupted for the 4th time? I mean, Jesus. I want nothing more than to come here and tell you my name. But you guys don't even play by the rules. It's very, very disappointing.
He can't wait for your time to be over.
And if we're going to do questions at the end of my speech, I'd like to know why Councilman Coyle can't own the fact that a national mistake was made. Yes, you guys will be remembered for the flag ban, and especially the 4 that voted for it, Councilman Coyle included.
Anyone else?
Council President.
Councilman Coyle, did you want to say something?
Council President, I just wanted to clarify the statements that the speaker made are false. Yes, we had a situation with a flag. The ordinance that this council voted on was an ordinance on props. If the speaker can ever find the ordinance and look at it and bring to my attention or anybody here, or highlight where it says that this council banned a flag, I'd love to see it. So he's making false statements, and he's here to just put flame on an old topic, and he's being an agitator, which is wrong for this council, and he should be.
Residents fighting back after the City Council of Edison, New Jersey, banned the American flag, the Constitution, and other props from town meetings.
I'm holding up an American flag to represent the constitutional values that
I'm
we
going to have to
should be
give you
loyal
a
to.
warning that if you continue, I will have to forfeit. You'll have to forfeit your time. This time is forfeit.
And it violates the law. Your time should be forfeited. Your position should be forfeited. By your actions, you forfeited your right to preside over this meeting.
Please have it removed. It's on the table. Room. Thank you.
Shame on you.
That man right there in that video, he was tossed out of the meeting for the crime of standing up for Old Glory.
City Council member from Edison, New Jersey, Richard Brescher, who voted against this new rule banning props, joins us now. What in the heck, Richard, is going on in Edison? That they would ban, that they would throw out Joel for waving a flag?
Our mayor here has been trying to silence the public, is how I should put it. So they've hired a law firm, which is a township law firm, to come up with rules and laws of decorum, which in their minds will make the meetings quicker, nicer. And our resident, Joel, came to a meeting and he pointed out that constitutionally, you know, by you holding up the American flag, he said, are you actually calling this a prop? And on the tape, our attorney, you know, said, yes, the American flag is a prop, which offended everyone. They went to have him removed from the meeting. It's caused a uproar with our town and our residents, and apparently with the help of Fox across the country right now. And you know, to be honest with you, it's great that it got covered, because to be honest with you,
doesn't he have a First Amendment right to express himself? I mean, this is, they always fundamentally forget that the government reports and works for the people. It's not the other way around. He has a First Amendment right, I think, in that public setting to be able to express himself and hold up a flag. That's not creating a danger or a threat to anybody. He can wave the flag.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this, there's two types of elected officials, and I tell people, there's the type that believe that they serve and they serve the public. There's the others, and they call themselves leaders, and they expect you to bow down and do whatever they want. And unfortunately, that's where our mayor is, and his 4 council people that we have. That's an internal thing that as Edison residents, we're going to work on.
Well, look,
how they could say the flag was a prop is, it's idiocracy.
Well, look, the good people of Edison, they're going to have to take this into their own hands and vote these people out of office if they want different results.
Or just bum rush the meetings and just have a big old crowd and embarrass them to rescind the rules.
Exactly.
Well, I got to tell you, with all of this publicity that came out, they came out with a statement that basically said, we didn't mean to ban the flag. We didn't mean to call it a prop. But the truth of the matter is, it's on video, and they did.
Yeah, so there's that. Yeah. Richard, we got to leave it there. Richard Brescher, thank you so much for joining us on The Bottom Line.
Restore the public when this happens. It's continuous. It's going to eventually incite violence, and this place will be packed with people.
You're the agitator.
We went over this before. He's well aware of it. He asked me not to interrupt him. I will interrupt him every time he makes a false statement about this flag issue.
Wow.
It was an ordinance about a prop. He knows it, and I know he can do better.
You got to get over it, Joe.
They come here to continuously put flame on an old story and eventually just agitate the public, and eventually that will incite violence.
The only one
For those who are listening, for someone who doesn't give his name, okay, he wants me to respect him, and I can't talk to my colleague about something I make. As we choose, we will talk to each other when we want to. At the same time, he won't give disrespect to give us his name. Right? This is a back and forth opportunity to work with the public on issues that are meaningful. That issue at that time, we admit, it was wrong in that issue. But the fact of the matter is, this council knows, the public knows, he knows, the ordinance that was voted on this town, in this council, was a proper ordinance. It was not to ban a flag. Thank you, Council President.
Your attorney was wrong.
Councilman Coyle, I would like to remind you that your comments made at this particular time are fine. It's fine. But interrupting a speaker in the middle of their time is not fine.
3 times in a row.
And so I'm going to ask you to, when you have comments, to speak at the end of the speaker's time and not interrupting. That is not cool. Thank you.
Protect agitators, protect people who incite violence.
You're the agitated.
Grow up.
Okay. All right. Russ?
To be diplomatic, there was a vote on flag banning and the United States Constitution.
Hell yeah.
That we were not supposed to hold it up at the podium while we were at the podium for our public speaking time, which was 6 minutes at the time. Now it's 4. If it wasn't a ban, why was our friend and Edison resident Joel Passoff removed while he was holding a flag? Why was I at the podium holding flags, a handful of flags, and I was warned, you know, by the last council president that if I continued to hold the flags, that I would risk forfeiting my time speaking. And if I continue, then I would risk being removed from the council meeting. The only thing that saved me was I ran out of time. So, you know, it's nothing personal about anybody that's sitting up there. It's professional and business that we have a problem with. We're not allowed, and because of decorum, we're not supposed to interrupt people or interrupt the speaker or yourselves. Well, it goes both ways. Respect goes both ways. Regardless of whether you know somebody's first name, last name, their address, it's irrelevant. What matters is the point that's being made. It's the questioning that's being made. We're supposed to. That's our right to have dialogue, to question. That's our right, and we deserve answers.
He just wants to go home. Look at him.
Then we also discussed Stephenville Island path. I think that's a great path that connects the housing complex all the way to Grove Ave, and it's very safe. It's between the two.
All right, I'm ready to go.
Me too.
This is Mikey. He put Coyle in his place. Put him in his place.
Now I only have one son that lives with me.
Oh goddamn! You guys missed it. You weren't in the room when Margot said for Coyle to be removed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there was no officers to remove him. I mean, is it the same way if a council president says remove this man? Are you allowed to do it? Would you do it? Well, it depends. Wait, because it doesn't depend for us. That's why I'm asking. So if she says for me to be removed, you're going to remove me. But if she says for him to be removed, you're not going to remove him?
Who says for whom?
Who's the council
So Council President is Harris.
Okay.
She said for Councilman Coyle to leave. All right? He refused. And then there was no police presence.
All right, well, unless she specifically directed us to escort him out of the council meeting.
But here's the thing. Nobody actually directs you guys to remove people. You hear it and then you just go. Did you see when they tried to kick me out the last two meetings prior?
Yeah.
You did? For what? Playing an interaction that happened in these chambers? Yeah. Guess what? I'm gonna do it again. And then I'm not gonna stop. I was playing, you know, when Christo and the thing between Christo and the BA?
So you were playing this.
I was playing this.
So this isn't the exit, this is you were playing this.
I was playing this.
South Jersey or North Jersey.
Right, it was like 1 o'clock.
Would you like my husband to come outside? So I was playing this video, and it happened in here. And they said I can't play the video. Well, guess what? I'm playing that video because there's litigation. Well, it doesn't matter. It's something that happened in these chambers. It's something that the members of the public need to be aware of, and I feel like I have the opportunity to address it, and I should be able to address it. Yes, sir. So, you know what drives me nuts? You know what really drives me nuts?
What?
The cops, right? They go in the meetings, right? And they literally leave their cop cars on for fucking 2+ hours.
You know what they like to say?
Oh, because of my computer and all that shit.
No, what they like to say is in case there's an emergency, they can immediately use it.
Yeah, but they're not going to leave.
What they're doing is they're running the clock because this way they have so many hours that they have to be patrolling. So all these security things that they talk about, cops aren't being patrolled. Right now, he's getting hours that otherwise looks like he's patrolling the streets.
Oh, gotcha.
This is what they're doing.
Oh, the computer's open. The computer's open.
You know what I mean, though? This is how they're getting their hours.
Okay. Scalzo! Mr. Scalzo!
I heard some bad news.
I'll see you upstairs.
Vinny's flag, but I'm holding it.
Yeah, hold it. I heard some bad news though. Coyle's not coming today.
No!
He's not here tonight.
I had a whole speech. I'm like well prepared today.
He's some family thing.
He's not in Edison.
Alright, so we'll read
Oh, that's a big ass job.
I know Anthony was talking about security here. So we have, I think, an officer over here, and then we have an officer there, one over there, another one outside. I would love nothing more than to have Maybe just one. Why do we need 4? I mean, this building is attached to the police station, so if he called for backup, they'd be here like this, right? Just saying, but we don't think we need 4 officers in this chambers. I know an officer said something about, well, we've had threats, like bombs and stuff. Well, I mean, 4 officers isn't going to save you from a bomb, that's for sure. I want to talk about the importance of transparency and accountability and the rights of the residents to know what's happening in their local government. We have seen some disturbing patterns emerging, patterns that raise serious questions about leadership, honesty, and responsibility. Let's talk about Sonia. We have reason to believe that she's actively seeking employment in other towns. Now that's her right, but the people of this town deserve to know why. Is it because she sees the writing on the wall? Is it because she knows that the actions of the administration is too much for her to handle? Or is it simply, is she simply looking to get out before things come crashing down? Whatever the reason, the public has the right to know. Second, we need to address the legal maneuvers being used to block the public's access to critical information. There's an ongoing effort to prevent a deposition with Mayor Sandroshi from coming to light. Why is it being hidden if there's nothing to hide? The residents of this town should not have to fight their own government for transparency they are promised. The legal system should not be used as a shield for those in power to avoid accountability. And we the people are paying for it to be hidden. How crazy is that? By their law firm, with our money. And speaking of accountability, let's talk about the mayor's trip to Chicago. We need credit card invoices showing spending during that trip. The question is, what was the money spent on? Who approved it? And most importantly, was it to benefit the residents of this town, or was it for personal or political gain? Public funds belong to the people, not to politicians who think they can use it freely without explanation. We demand answers. We already know he reimbursed the town $20,000, but we don't know for what. For what? We have no idea. We can't get any information out of the administration. No documents on what officers were paid or the credit card statements. Finally, let's bring back the 6 minutes. It was taken away to silence the voices of the residents, and that's not how this government should operate. The people of this town have the right to be heard, and the 6 minutes is not much to ask. The attempt to limit public discussion is a direct attack on free speech and civil engagement, and we won't stand for it. Do we have any new information on the rape allegations against Mayor Sandroshi? And it's time to stop hiding, and it's time to start answering. It's time for real leadership.
Mr. Scalzo?
Nothing.
I'm Peter Scalzo. I work with The Great Truth, and my contact information is scalzophoto.com. And as always, whenever people say racially insensitive remarks, like to say, I think the individual sounded foolish, but I'm glad Margot did not shut down the meeting or tell him to leave or anything like that. You respected his free speech to say racially insensitive things. I appreciate that. In the place like Woodbridge, they hate free speech over there. They shut it down immediately. You can't even directly criticize a politician. It's ridiculous over there. So actually, Edison has many advantages in terms of that. Because when people can speak freely, it's like a pressure valve, and it helps to solve problems. So let's see. First, I'd like to. We've had other town attorneys here that were extremely well. First, this particular town attorney I tend to like so far. Third impressions really, and he's much better than previous town attorneys. This one guy in particular was extremely rude, and he has these hissy fits and these temper tantrums, and he can't handle basic communication skills. So, and I think we all know who that individual is. So this particular gentleman is much better. He's a little robotic, but I'd rather have that than a temper tantrum, personally. So, that's my...
I think.
Anyway, so, next topic is... I'll address the Chicago trip, the DNC, when Mayor, what we call Sleazy Sam Joshi, was doing his Comic-Con style politician fantasy camp, where he met all the big stars of political theater. Obviously, we, as Vinny addressed, it cost about $20,000, I believe, for 4 police officers to go, which I don't understand why. Obviously, at first it was the taxpayer money that he reimbursed it, but why would you waste your campaign money on 4 bodyguards? Why not 3? Why not 2? Most people have 0 bodyguards, and why would you just recklessly waste your own money, or your campaign money? I don't really understand that. And was it Sam Joshi's idea to pay back the township, or did someone else have to tell him the fact that I have to wonder about that is a problem? And the reason why I am suspicious is because he thought he could hijack the tax-paid attorney to hide the Glendale deposition video and even the transcript, which is kind of crazy. So I don't even think the thought of Sam Joshi, I don't think the thought entered his mind that he has to pay back the taxpayer for this Glendale issue. I mean, I don't see why the deposition would be hidden from Sam Joshi's bosses, which are the taxpayers. And because what is he talking about? I don't believe you have nuclear weapons here in Edison, so I don't see why anything would be kept secret. And last but not least, I'm limited on time. I wanted to speak about something involving Joe Coyle's comments last meeting. He kind of lost his marbles, but I'm not going to wait for next time. But separation 36. He made a comment similar to Christo's comment about. I don't even know if I'm going to bother reading it, but I'll wait for next time. It's the same exact comment that Christo was blamed for making a threat. Councilman Joe Coyle made the exact same comment, the exact same concept behind it, but it was not considered a threat. But I'll wait for next meeting to get into that. It's basically how I'm out of time. Thank you for your time.
All right, good evening, council. Anonymous. Hopefully I don't need my gavel today. That was extremely disturbing what happened last time. Just as a little recap for everybody, that was the 3rd time that I was cut off by Councilman Coyle after he guaranteed me that he wouldn't do it. Unfortunately, he's not here today to interrupt me for the 4th time in a row. But these kinds of violations, I mean, Edison has become notorious for stifling the First Amendment. And we can just, someone keeps track of the questions. Who is the ADA coordinator? Did Richard Brescher ever get an answer on the Hill that supposedly was compliant? Also about the constitutional lawyer, did he ever get an answer on that? I'd like to know. When I leave the meeting, I see in the Edison, not trying to discourage or throw shade on the Edison police. A lot of these guys are cool, but the cars are running outside. Is there a certain amount of hours that they have to log on their computer where they otherwise would be patrolling? Is that why they're not patrolling as much? Because they're getting logged hours on vehicles that are running the whole time during the meeting? These are some issues. I really wanted to spend a whole 4 minutes addressing Joe Coyle, but he's not here, unfortunately. I have a tort claim here that I would like to submit, along with some pictures as a reminder of the flag ban. And when I even spoke, I said I referred to the prop ban as the flag ban, which is what he's been saying the whole time. I refer to it as a flag ban. He said those words and he jumped down my throat, violating my rights. He made statements that he is going to do it every single time. So he has expressed publicly a premeditation to continue to violate my First Amendment rights when this has been an ongoing issue with Edison.
To correct, and I agree with Scalzo, I do like this attorney. Unfortunately, some of the things he says are incorrect. Newspapers are private, they're not government websites. Bronco versus Carteret says that these social media platforms are government public forums. So you're incorrect about that. You can't block comments on a Facebook page. Kelly Gade from Hamilton, she was sued, $40,000 the township had to pay, and they weren't even seeking punitive damages. It's just the principle about it. Can't disable comments, can't block members of the public. It's a government official page, these social media platforms. So hopefully you can catch up to speed with that awareness, because as a township attorney, especially coming from this law firm who has, I believe, actively done some of these things to create litigation to get paid on the back end. You know, they're playing tug of war with people's rights, and then they get paid on the rope when they go to litigate it. So I'd like to submit this tort claim. Joe Coyle has opened up the township to new litigation, new lawsuits, and he slandered me. He defamed my character. He made statements saying that I was coming here, put me in a framework, that I was in, my comments were designed to agitate the public and incite violence. That's slander, that's defamation, and all I was doing was exercising my First Amendment right. And I appreciate you, Councilman President Harris, for protecting my rights. When he called a point of order, the next words that came out of his mouth was, he shouldn't be doing this. The First Amendment, it's the First Amendment for a reason. It's protected for unfavorable things. So I'd like to submit this tort claim.
Council President, I'm going to address the two things that were directed at me. Constitutional lawyer. Our attorney told me he doesn't know of anyone in particular. He said he's the one that's supposed to give us that advice. And we did speak about it, but he gave it to me in email format. I'm reaching out to, I think it's Dover. I'm going to have to talk to a couple people as to where I heard this or seen it. But they had a constitutional lawyer, is what I thought it was. It was somebody that was directing them on decorum and the whole type of thing.
Dover sucks. Dover sucks.
Well, I don't know which town it was, but I'm going to try and find that constitutional lawyer, recommend to this attorney that I'd like to speak to them. And the only reason why is this body has struggled over the last 3 and whatever years, since we got the new mayor, with this. And I spoke to my colleagues about it, I've spoken at length about it. You know, it's, trying to stop the Constitution is a hard thing to do. And a lot of, and the way judges interpret it is even more perplexing. They decide on the facts that are given at the time, irregardless of whether the second step would actually then be a violation. So that I'm going to look into. I told our attorney I'd get him the name of that attorney. The ramp in the ADA. I did talk to our attorney about it. They believe that it was grandfathered in, except there was no ADA when the building was built at the time. But the building is required to have an ADA. What it turns out to be is our ADA compliance is the walkway underneath and the elevators coming upstairs. I asked him why it was shut down. He said it was done through the command of the police department, which would be the Mayor Sam Joshi. He technically is the head guy in charge,
Wow.
safety official.
He made you go up that ramp.
Well, that's by the law.
Yeah.
But, so I can only assume that he was the one that made the decision.
Lefty.
I don't think Patrolman
The
made the
woman with one
decision
leg?
to secure the building that day, because they said that, I said there were gonna be thousands of people that are gonna be here. I have to go through my email and text. I believe I was asked, you know, how many people were coming, and I probably said, I don't know, 20,000, you know, I got no clue. I didn't call 1,000 people, I call 20 people, you can call anybody. But irregardless of that, you know, it was shut down. And whether that's the police chief or the public safety director, whoever made that, you know, recommendation, I'm looking into this because what I see is that they still have to maintain ADA requirements. Okay, so if they were gonna shut off that opening, you can't use that ramp for it. And that meant that they had to have the fire department here to carry people up and down. And that's a requirement that they would have to have, okay? They just can't close it off. What bothered me that night, and I would think the chief of staff and BA should look into this, was we were locked outside, and the officers, when I asked, you know, I mean, forget about them saying I brought everybody here, so whoever that officer was, to be honest with you, I think he was nuts. Not to think it wasn't the flag band, but it was me that brought everybody here. But I was told that the elevators didn't work. And then I watched a construction worker come out of the elevators. Somebody working on the fire alarm system. It was an electrician of type.
I went on the elevators that day, they were working.
So I know that the elevators did work. I just didn't understand the premise of public safety of shutting off downstairs as opposed to locking this. You know, downstairs is pretty, you're almost corralled in where you can only kind of go up, you know, to here. I'd like to get a reasoning as to why they did that.
I believe the township attorney provided in terms of the public safety decision aspect of it. I can speak for myself. I came down at about 6:45, I believe, or quarter to when the meeting started, and I did indicate to the public safety folks to open the doors and let the public in, being that there was a larger crowd and people were anticipating to come in due to the weather. So I believe that 10 minutes before the start of the meeting.
It's legally required.
Brought in.
Right. No, my question was, they locked off the downstairs. Anybody that's been into this building here, you can come in this right over here, right? And you are right by council chamber. But if you're downstairs at the entrance, there's only one way to go up, and it's the staircase right there, which is the same distance roughly to that metal detector. You know what I mean? So there really is no difference. So I'm wondering who in public safety, the mayor, the chief, whoever, who came up with the idea that we should close off downstairs that had this ADA access, as opposed to maybe close off these doors up here and funnel everybody in downstairs.
Again, as the attorney indicated, this was a public safety decision, so I would just refer to that.
Oh, the mayor.
Okay, right, and I guess that's part of this timing part here. When we say public safety decision, ultimately the mayor is the public safety director, correct?
Councilman, you know the answer to that.
What would be the answer, Councilman?
The answer, he's the public safety director.
Then the public safety director did not allow ADA compliance and lock people out of this building to stand in the rain that day.
Your mayor.
So it's the mayor. I guess that's where we went. And thank you for taking months for us to get to the handicap compliance, to cover up for another one of the mayor's blunders here in Edison. And then he wonders why people come here and they voice their opinion. Thank you, Council President.